I want to ask you because I watched tape of your Siena appearance, and it was, I mean, Dr. Annette Tejero was shall we say, strident in her rhetoric. So was Michelle Fiore, and in fact, at one point there was kind of a mini confrontation. And poor Andy Matthews was sitting between the two, and he was like, "What am I going to do with this?"
Yeah, he didn't know what to do. He had the craziest face on when they were yelling back and forth. Drop the mic if you want to fight.
Yeah. And I'm like, now it's almost as if the Trump thing has permeated area politics, and now there's a little more strident tone.
Well, first of all, I don't know. Maybe that was Annette's motivation, but you didn't see that in the other candidates that were out there. Only one, and I think it made her look bad, and I don't think she's. I don't know what the reason why she'd want to do that. It was all personal attacks, very aggressive, and I don't think from when I've talked to people that people responded to it.
Tell you what, let's do. Let's go to the phones because I guess who's with us online. Dr. Annette Tejero, I believe you are online. Go right ahead.
Hey, hi, Kevin. Hi,
Good morning.
Danny.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, this is Dr. Annette Tejero.
And what would you like to talk about today?
Well, you guys were talking about me, I heard, and I wanted to set the record straight. So somehow we were talking about me going on an attack, and debates are actually to point out things to the voters. So I pointed out your life record, Danny, because you've never amended or read or testified on legislation like I have. So if you don't have a legislative record, then you have to bring up people's life record.
Annette, I don't care what you say about me. Nothing you say would affect my opinion of you. I know you for a long time, and we go way back, and I understand why you're saying these things, and that's nothing that we didn't say that on the show. I don't know if you heard it or if someone's telling you something. You did have an aggressive approach to everybody on the stage, and we were talking more about you and Michelle, where she got upset and said, "Put the mic down, and if you guys want to fight," and that's where we talked about it. I didn't say one thing about you, comments about myself. But listen, I'm going to get hit a lot worse from Michael Roberson when it gets down to the paid media than anything you're going to say about me, and I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Well, I don't, attacks. I didn't do any personal attacks. I wanted to make that crystal clear to your audience. My clarifications have to do with the truth, and that's what I do. That's what I went to a debate for. That's what I think the voters wanted to hear. And furthermore, when you look at the collaboration between Michelle Fiore and Michael Roberson during that wonderful exchange, it's pretty crystal clear what the point was. I had the first bell, and you and I both know that first bell was telling us that we had 10 seconds more. And she popped up, and she broke into my time. So if anybody attacked anybody, it was Michelle Fiore because she didn't like the truth that I was saying.
There's no
so
doubt.
I wanted to clarify the record. I don't go on personal attacks. I go on the record, and I have to defend our Constitution, and I have to state the things that are important for voters to know. I think you'll agree with that.
Let me ask you, because I saw the videotape, and I believe it may have been put out by your campaign. I'm not sure. But I did detect a very strident tone, and I'm wondering if that's something we're going to see more of during this campaign. Is that going to become a staple of your campaign, a more strident tone, a more aggressive tone?
I think it's really important. This is the month of the woman, and I think assigning me a strident tone versus an affirmative tone is a little bit on the sexist, guys. That's not really cool. So understand that I will always be assertive when I know I'm speaking the truth. So you will see me be assertive when I'm speaking the truth. That's not strident. That's real. That's the way that we get the point across to people so they understand how genuine you are. So I don't think that's strident. If you want to label me as being strident, then that's your opinion.
Well, all I'll say is it was more aggressive than the other candidates on the stage. Much more aggressive.
Well, then perhaps if they were all speaking the same, if they were all talking the same and all as assertive as I was about saying the truth about everybody, perhaps they would have been the same way.
Hey, look at Annette. There's no doubt you were the most aggressive person on the stage, and I've said on the show, you have a plan or of how you want to run your race and get a chance to possibly win, and that's your plan. That's not what I would have done. I didn't. That's not my approach. That's your approach. But and you can use the word strong. It was aggressive. It was personal. It was not just policy stuff. But that's
No, it wasn't personal, Daddy. Sorry.
okay. Well, we can respectfully disagree. I believe it was personal. It doesn't matter. As I mentioned, I've been hit with more personal stuff than probably any candidate in the last 10 years. But that's part of running for politics, particularly if you're a threat to the person you're running against. You got to expect these type of attacks, and that's what we had. I don't hold anything against you, Annette. You run the campaign the way you feel best. I'll run mine, and we'll see what happens.
Dr. Tajero, we're running to the end of a segment. Thanks so much. I do appreciate it. And again, Dr. Annette Tajero joining us.